Coming into this game, the Devils were 2-6-3 in their previous 11 outings. The Bruins were 8-0-2 in their previous 10 games against the Devils. Yet the Devils dominated them from start to finish and defeated them 5-1. We have a lot to break down in today's episode of Locked On Devils, and I also have plenty of sound bites to share. Buckle up, everybody.
You're Locked On Devils, your daily podcast on the New Jersey Devils, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hi, this is Bryce Salvador, and you're Locked On Devils with Trey Matthews.
Elliott scores! Oh, Stevens stepped up, nailed it. Brodor's got the puck. What a shot. The Devils win the Stanley Cup.
Alrighty now, what is up, New Jersey? Welcome back to the Locked On Devils podcast here at the Locked On Network. I'm your host, college hockey play announcer, Devils are Pucks Pitchforks, and also part-time Credential Media member, Trey Matthews. Back from the Prudential Center, the New Jersey Devils came out victorious against the Boston Bruins by a score of 5-1. They absolutely dominated them, and that's the first time in a long time that I saw the Devils manhandle their opponent. I have a bunch of sound bites to share, so let's get right into it. In the first segment, I will share my main takeaways from the game. Then in the second segment, I will name my 3 stars of the game and also some honorable mentions. And then in the third and final segment, like I do with every post-game recap episode, I will compare the stats and give the Devils a letter grade. Now, before I get into my main takeaways from this matchup, first, shout out to Jacques Lemaire. He was inducted into the New Jersey Devils Ring of Honor, and he has quite the resume. 8-time Stanley Cup champion with the Montreal Canadiens as a player, multi-time All-Star, Hall of Famer, but obviously what makes him so well known in New Jersey is that he led the Devils behind the bench to their first ever Stanley Cup over the heavy favored Detroit Red Wings and swept them. And as a result, the Devils hoisted the cup in 1995 for the first time in history. I've had the pleasure of interviewing some of his players on this show, including Ken Danico and Bruce Driver. It was nice to see all the festivities going on. Everyone was excited. It was well-deserved for Lemaire. So shout out to one of the greatest coaches in Devils history. Okay, let's get into this matchup against the Bruins. A couple episodes ago, I said desperate times call for desperate measures. What did I mean by that? Well, the Devils were rolling with the same lineups night after night after night, expecting for some sort of miraculous change. But I said something needs to be different this time around because teams are starting to figure out the Devils a little bit more. Their offense has gone stagnant. And I actually talked to Chico Resch about this during intermission. And he said, like, at least the Devils are not getting blown out. So I don't think this is a defensive issue or a goaltending issue. Unfortunately, their offense and goals just have been tough to come by. So I was hoping that Sheldon Keefe would make some changes to the lineup. And man, oh man, did he make some changes. Andre Palat was scratched in this game due to illness, and that sort of opened up a spot a little bit. The top line was Jack Hughes at center, Paul Cotter, and Nathan Bastian, his wingers. That didn't really last all that long for obvious reasons, and Jack Hughes was buzzing alongside Nico Hischier and Jesper Bratt, so that pretty much ended that sort of experiment. But to give Sheldon Keefe credit, I'd say Timo Meier and Dawson Mercer, both of them had their best outings in a long time. Timo Meier, he had a multi-point performance. Dawson Mercer, he netted himself a couple goals. So putting Timo Meier on the third line, I think that actually helped him a little bit more. And like I said not too long ago, one of the things that I respected from Lindy Ruff was that he wasn't afraid to shake up the lines every now and again, much to the ire of some of the Devils' discourse. And yes, I don't want Timo Meier to stay on the third line, but in this sort of circumstance, I have to make an exception because something needed to change. And I'm glad that Sheldon Keefe came around to it. The first period, I would say the Devils definitely came out aggressive. Jesper Bratt did have an awful turnover in the defensive end that resulted in Morgan Geekie getting a great look on Markstrom. It was a tic-tac-toe play, and Pastrnak got the primary assist, and Zacha, the former Devil, got the secondary assist. So the Devils were trailing 1-0 early, but they were still putting some good pressure on Jeremy Swayman, and they had some good point-blank looks, and that was one of my concerns going into the game, which is Jeremy Swayman, one of the best goalies in the NHL. Jacob Markstrom, arguably the Devils' MVP this year. I was thinking that this was going to be a goalie matchup, but that changed in the second period for the worse for both teams because Jeremy Swayman, he allowed 4 unanswered goals to the Devils. The floodgates opened for New Jersey, especially on the power play. Dawson Mercer, he had a nice spinorama to tie the game. He was just relentless on the left circle. But as the Devils were starting to get some offensive momentum, it came with a price. Jacob Markstrom, he got hurt and had to be helped down the tunnel by trainers. He wasn't really putting much pressure on his left leg, and it looked somewhat serious. Now, how did he get hurt? Justin Brazeau just lost an edge, and I think Dylan also got a little tangled up with him, and Brazeau just went crashing into Markstrom and clipped him inadvertently. So I don't believe there was anything egregious to it. It was just a freak accident, but it comes at the expense of the Devils losing one of their best players this year. And I don't want to be an armchair doctor. I don't know the official assessment. And I would say take the doctors you see on Twitter and their assessment with a grain of salt because everyone's body and healing process is different. I will wait for the MRI reports and also Sheldon Keefe's assessment when that time comes, because Sheldon Keefe said he didn't have an update for the media post-game, which I know not everyone wants to hear, but that's just the reality of it. Anyway, focusing on something a little bit more positive, the Devils continue to score on Jeremy Swayman and the Bruins. Dougie Hamilton, he had a power play goal. His shot on the man advantage is just absolutely lethal. Stefan Nason, just great net front presence, and I'm probably going to say that even more as the season progresses. He and Nico Hischier lead the team in power play goals with 9. Dawson Mercer, he got his second goal of the game. Devils were up 4-1 going into the final intermission. And then in the third period, as if the Devils needed any more insurance, Nico Hischier just added more salt to the wound, and he scored on the power play to give the Devils a 5-1 lead. My biggest takeaway from this matchup is that I think the Devils just needed a big time win in order to snap themselves out of their funk, because coming into this matchup in their last 11 outings, the Devils had a record of 2-6-3, and they've been spiraling a little bit. I haven't pushed the panic button, but I was growing a little concerned because, like I said early on in this episode, it had been a while since the Devils dominated their opponent. I would say the last time prior to this game that the Devils dominated an opponent was on December 23rd when they blanked the Rangers 5-0. I was waiting for that sort of outing where from start to finish, the Devils were the stronger team. And it sort of reminded me as to what happened during the 2022-2023 season. Remember, late December, early January, the Devils were struggling. But what snapped them out of it was getting a big-time win against their heated rival, the Rangers. Damon Severson, he scored the game-winning goal in overtime, and the Devils went back to winning consistently. So I think this type of outing against the Bruins, look, the Bruins aren't really a good team this year statistically. However, they know how to handle the Devils because in their previous 10 games against New Jersey, the Bruins had a record of 8-0-2. So it's been years since the Devils have defeated the Bruins in regulation. And finally, no OT, no shootout, no extra hockey, and the Devils beat the Bruins. And I think this is the turning point for New Jersey where they go back to winning consistently. And hopefully it just snaps them back to reality. I'm hoping for the best for Jacob Markstrom. Like I said, I'm not a doctor, but all in all, this was a good win for New Jersey, and it was a thoroughly entertaining game. And the Devils got Jeremy Swayman out after the second period. That's pretty impressive if you ask me. All right. I'm going to name some players that caught my eye and also play some sound bites. But before we continue, let me tell you guys about Select Quote. In sports, having a winning strategy is everything. It's how the best teams make it to the Super Bowl, the World Series, and the Olympics. The same goes for life. Having a strategy like life insurance from Select Quote can protect your financial legacy and keep your family's future secure. Select Quote makes it easy to find the perfect life insurance policy. As one of America's leading insurance brokers with nearly 40 years of experience, they've helped over 2 million customers find $700 billion in coverage since 1985. What sets Select Quote apart is their personal touch. Unlike other brokers that offer one-size-fits-all policies, their licensed agents tailor coverage to fit your unique needs. If you're in good health, you might even qualify for some same-day coverage up to $5 million, no medical exam required, and it's more affordable than you think. You could get up to $1 million in coverage for as little as $20 a month. Get the right life insurance for you for less at selectquote.com/LockedOnNHL. Go to selectquote.com/LockedOnNHL today to get started. That's selectquote.com/LockedOnNHL. Select Quote, they shop, you save. Okay, let's play some sound bites and also list some players that caught my eye. Before I name my personal 3 stars of the game, first some honorable mentions. The first honorable mention goes to Timo Meier. He had a multi-point outing, getting 2 assists on both of Mercer's goals. Like I said, I think this was one of Meier's better performances as of late, and that shakeup that Keefe did, I think it unleashed something from Meier, and desperate times call for desperate measures, and I think Keefe did the right thing in that sort of aspect. My next honorable mention goes to Nico Hischier, and I know he should be one of the 3 stars, but I gave it to another player that really stepped up his game when the Devils were in a vulnerable position. Nico had a 3-point outing. He scored the 5th and final goal for New Jersey and got 2 assists on a couple of power play attempts. So the captain had a really good showing. My 3rd star goes to Jake Allen, and here's why. Like I said in the first segment, at one point during the second period, Markstrom went down with what looked to be a serious injury, and Jake Allen really came in clutch. Cold off the bench, he saw 16 shots, and he made all 16 saves. And remember, coming into this matchup, Jake Allen had not won a game in a good while. And this was going to be a good test for Allen, and he answered the call. So I'm very proud with what Jake Allen did in this particular matchup. We had the chance to speak with him post-game. Here's what he had to say about his outing, Markstrom's injury situation, and the overall feeling in the Devils locker room. Take a listen.
You never know in this league. I've been around long enough that I've been in some funky spots before, and obviously, first and foremost, you don't ever want to see that from your other goalie, and probably our best player on our team so far this season. It's tough to see. As a goalie, as soon as I saw that, I sort of knew that start getting my stuff on. But I was talking to him after. He's in good spirits, so we're hoping that it's not too serious.
What was it like to get that kind of support and just the way you guys played that second period?
Yeah, as everyone stepped up. I mean, that's what happens when you have guys out of the lineup. Obviously, you lose a guy mid-game, but you're also Halsey and Pally, and you need guys to step up and do their job. And I thought that second period was obviously one of the best periods we played of late. Sort of sets a standard for us, I think to come back here this weekend against a good team and try to replicate that.
How much did this team need that to play that style tonight?
Yeah, I think it's weight off a lot of guys' shoulders. Obviously get the 2 points at home before you go on a couple-game road trip here, but it's been tough for pucks going in the net lately. And I think for those guys, it's a great mental boost, and obviously it was big 2 points.
How about your save at the end of the second period? Just take it.
It was 2-on-1. I thought the guy was shooting the whole way, and he sort of waited, and it's just a little bit of desperation.
What would you say about the energy, especially in the second period, the desperation that the team brought, and they were just bringing that offensive push?
Yeah, I know. I think our start of the game was a little slow. I think we all can agree with that, but I think the last probably 7 minutes of the first, we really pushed, and I think we tried to carry that over into the second. And obviously, right away with Mercer, the big goal, and then we slowly chipped away at it. Every team in this league is good. You're not going to be able to just stomp on anyone for 60 straight minutes. There's going to be ups and downs for the game, but I thought for the most part of that second period, they played a hell of a job.
Jake, when you have some of the greats that came into this building tonight, is it hard not to get up and make sure that you play at your peak performance?
You should be up every night, but I think it puts things in perspective. I think a lot of the guys paved the way before you, especially for this organization. I know not a lot on any of us played with any of them. I got to play with Marty, luckily, but I think it's just a lot of respect, gratitude for what they did and where they put, this uniform on the map and what they did for the Devils. So I think you have to take that into consideration, and you got to go out there and play for those guys. And without them, I don't know if they, like I said, they paved the way. You got to respect to the alumni and the players before you, and even though you don't know them, it's a big deal.
My second star goes to Dougie Hamilton. He got the game-winning goal in the second period, and the Devils just caught lightning in a bottle. And then minutes later, Stefan Nason, he scored on the power play. Dawson Mercer got his second goal of the game. Dougie is just phenomenal on the man advantage, and he creates a lot of good opportunities for not only himself, but his teammates. And I will continue to defend Dougie Hamilton on this show. Here's what he had to say to the media about his overall effort. Take a listen.
We've been really working on our game, focusing on different stuff, and even the last couple of days, some key things, and how to score goals and stuff like that. And it was a little better today. So obviously some PP goals in there, but some shifts that we could have had a bunch. So hopefully we can learn and keep doing that consistently.
You never want to see Markstrom go down, but Jake Allen comes in, has a really strong game. What did you see off him?
Yeah, it's a tough spot to be in, so he came in and played unreal. So it's nice to have two really good goalies, and hopefully Marky's back soon.
How hard was it to see Marky go down there, especially with how he's been playing lately?
Yeah, very hard. I think he's been so good for us. So obviously I think he didn't look like he was feeling great when he was getting up, so definitely hard to see. Don't want to see anyone get hurt. And then, like we said, Jake came in, played awesome, so that's good for us.
You mentioned the power play when the team's struggling to find the back of the net. How big is it for the confidence to have the power play that's been so well kind of come through tonight and get the offense going?
Yeah, it's huge. I think special teams changes games. A couple PP goals changes the game, and I guess today was 1-1, and then we get the lead from the power play. So just like simple as that, and able to play with the lead and stuff like that. So just little things like that in the game change the game, and penalty kill obviously too. So obviously it's big when we can win those special teams spots.
Not just a win, but a win by 4 goals. How significant is that for this group to know that you guys can get that scoring back, you can have everything work, and then you can score by multiple, or win by multiple?
Yeah, we know we can. I think just look at the players in the room. So much talent and stuff. We know we can score. So just focusing on certain things, little things, and now we got to do it consistently and try to keep building and keep getting better.
A special night too, Ring of Honor, some big players and coaches in this organization here. What was it like to see them in the pregame ceremony?
Yeah, very cool. They did what ultimately we want and what we dream about doing. So definitely motivation for us, and to see that and see, I guess, the Devils legends on the ice. So definitely pretty cool, and I don't know when the next one will be, but it was always fun to be a part of.
My first star has to be Dawson Mercer. He had a fantastic game. He got his 11th and 12th goal of the season, and he was aggressive all night long. He led the charge against the Bruins. This was pretty much a must-win situation because you don't want to lose valuable points, and getting this statement victory against a team that's had your number the last few years, that should not go unnoticed. So Mercer is my personal first star. We had the chance to speak with him post-game, and I also asked him, like, does this particular game boost the confidence collectively in the locker room? Take a listen.
Oh, well, I don't know. Do we say that when, your coach makes some words to you in the morning skate, maybe that translated to this team's performance tonight?
Yeah, well, I think we obviously wanted to perform better than what we did here this morning, and pretty much sometimes it just needs to be said, and I think we reacted well, and we had a good game out there tonight, and it'll be nice now to hopefully try to get on a run there now.
Dawson, you guys took over that second period. You didn't score, but for like 3 minutes you completely dominated, and finally, later in the period you were able to get on the scoreboard.
Yeah, it's a big momentum changer if you look back on it. I don't know what the time was, but I know pretty much every line had a shift in the ozone before there was a whistle, and I think that kind of just, put us in a different level and a different gear, and I think we just ran with it from there on in, right till the end of the game, and I think it showed. Obviously, we drawed penalties after, created more opportunities, and that's where we wanted to get back to our game.
When it's 1-1 and you see your goalie go down and, Jake has to come in, do you guys just decide that we have to lift our level of play right now?
Well, I think it's unbelievable, impressive for like a goalie to come in. You're cold on the bench, and then all of a sudden, like, it's super unfortunate for Marky. You never want to see that happen, or a player or a goalie. But for Jake to step up and come in like that and shut the door, and he really gave us a chance to win, and we just kept going with it. And then it was a full team effort out there.
Meyer assisting on both of your goals. What was working well with your movement together?
Yeah, I think it was great. Obviously, we wanted to be on the same page, our line as a whole, and I think pretty much we all skated well, played with a lot of pace, and pretty much that's what created our opportunities. We had the puck on our stick most of the time, and even on that goal, we chipped it in, got it back, used our skill, made plays, and obviously it was nice to find the back of the net.
We heard that this team wants to build on this now, but how much does it help that it was a multi-goal win versus just a one-goal win?
I think, within our group we have a lot of guys that can score, and it'll be nice, obviously, to get back to that. It's not the only thing within the games, but it obviously is a big part. The team that scores more wins the game, and I think tonight for us, obviously, you look at the bright side, we only kept it the one for them, and but for us to find the net, have different looks, and create that momentum, it's a big thing for us in the future.
What does it do for your confidence? You get the 3 power play goals, you score some goals tonight. Just make feeling good about your offense again.
Well, the special teams is a major part of the game. Obviously, it's a big momentum changer. If you look at it, we had 3 of ours, and shut down them on the PK. It can really change the game. It can change the way that even if a team's not playing good and you're scoring on the power play, you can find a way to win, and you need that. And tonight we obviously showed that we're capable of putting the puck in the net on the power play, and Dougie, Brider, Jack, they all had Naster in the front, and Nico, they had a good unit there tonight.
To sort of follow up on that, it's been a tough string of games the last few outings, and this Bruins team coming into this matchup, they were 8-0-2 against you guys in their previous 10 games. Is this sort of the big win that boosts your guys' confidence collectively and trying to win more consistently?
Well, I think we're looking at it on ourselves. We wanted to improve our game ever since the break and get back on the right track. So anytime a team comes into your building, you want to put up a hard fight, and I think we did it here tonight. And obviously when the Bruins come in, they're a tough team, like you said, but like I said, we focus on ourselves. We knew what we had to do and dial it in, and I think we did just that tonight.
Dawson, is this the kind of win that you can point to and say this is the one that we started digging ourselves out of that little hole that we put ourselves in?
I would hope so. It'd be obviously great for us to get on a roll now, but overall, if you look, we're going to take it game by game and make sure that we look at the video, keep our practices and momentum through the full time. We don't want to take no time off, and it'll be important now for us getting on these few road games, dial it in.
Every now and then, you'll probably look up at the banners. What does it mean to see those guys in the building tonight?
It was pretty special. History within an organization is everything. They built the foundation, and they were the ones that started off winning the cups here. Pretty much, they're everything, and we're trying to follow their footsteps and recreate what they did. So it's obviously pretty special to have them in the building and have that ceremony out there tonight. Whenever they accomplish something that big, it should be recognized and special. I wasn't even born back at the time, and I was still out there thinking it was amazing just to see those guys walk across and to be honored like that.
Like I said, this game meant a lot for the Devils because the Bruins have had the Devils number the last few years. The Devils have been struggling in their last 11 outings. The last time the Devils were dominating an opponent, you would have to go back before the Christmas break. And here they are, third in the Metro, still in a playoff position, but they're starting to slip a little bit. And you need to snap back to reality ASAP. And that's exactly what they did. So Mercerdog answered the call. All right. I'm going to compare the stats and give the Devils a letter grade momentarily. But before we continue, let me tell you guys about FanDuel. From the first whistle to the final drive, FanDuel makes the NFL playoffs even more exciting. Right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if you win your first bet. That's $300 to keep the action going. The FanDuel app is easy to navigate, and the variety of bets keep everything exciting. Plus, when you win, you get paid instantly. No waiting around for your winnings, whether you're betting on your favorite team or just looking to add some extra excitement to the playoffs. FanDuel has got you covered. Just visit FanDuel.com to join today and get started with $300 in bonus bets. That's FanDuel.com. Make this playoff season unforgettable with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. Please remember to always gamble responsibly. Okay, before I compare the stats and give the Devils a letter grade, I first want to play this soundbite from Sheldon Keefe talking about his team's overall effort and what it means from here on out. And it's also worth mentioning that during morning skate, Sheldon Keefe was a little ticked off with the Devils. Now, I personally was not present for morning skate this time around, but he lit a fire under his team, but he didn't really take credit for that. But I just want to focus on what this win meant for the Devils and how it impacts them going forward. Here's what head coach Sheldon Keefe had to say.
Coach, it's maybe the first multi-goal win in a little while. Is this one of the games that you can, or is this a game you could point to and say, maybe that this is the turning point of where you guys dig yourself out of a hole that maybe you guys were in a little bit?
I'd like to think so, and certainly hope so. That's what I said to the group after, we can breathe a little bit here now. We can remember that we can score goals and we can play well. We can win games convincingly. So yeah, that's the hope. But it's just one game, so you got to go out and do it again and all of that. So we'll enjoy another day off here tomorrow. Obviously, got some guys sick again, and we got to make sure we're managing that appropriately. But we'll get another practice day, and then travel up the road, play against a Montreal team that's playing as good or better than anybody in the league, and feel good about it. But this is the kind of response I was hoping for today. Like I think I said the last time I chatted with you guys, we now had a chance to take a breath. We took a day off. We had a practice day. We played tonight. Now we're going to take another day off, have another practice day, play again. Hope that we can just start to build momentum here again and find our way and hope that what we've just gone through is behind us and that we're better having gone through it.
Okay, the Devils' next game is on Saturday against the Canadiens, and I know a lot of people think that's going to be an easy win, but the Canadiens have a lot of momentum on their side, and Sheldon even spoke about it during his press conference, which is the Canadiens are one of the hottest teams in the NHL right now, and then the Devils will have 2 games against the Flyers, one at home and one in Philadelphia. I forget which one comes first. I need to look at the schedule again, but the Flyers have already beaten the Devils this year, so let's not underestimate any Devils opponent. But I'm just saying, I think the Devils have some good momentum heading their way before they head to Montreal. But for now, let's compare the stats. Give the Devils a letter grade. Shots on goal differential, 35-23 in favor of the Devils. Power plays. Bruins were 0 for 3. Devils were 3 for 7. Power play coming alive once again. And I think that's also big for New Jersey because, like I said, goals have been tough to come by the last few games. Hits, 11 apiece. Giveaways, 19-12 in favor of the Bruins. Takeaways, 3 apiece. Block shots, 19-17. Time spent in the penalty box, 14-6 in favor of the Bruins. If I had to give the Devils a letter grade, I'm actually going to give them an A because from start to finish, they were by and large the better team. And without a shadow of a doubt, this can build some positive momentum. And the team really came together when Jacob Markstrom went down with his injury. And I also got to give credit and props to Jeremy Swayman and Nikita Zadorov for coming over to check on Markstrom to make sure he was all right. Great sportsmanship. Love to see that. And I think Zadorov and Markstrom were close in Calgary. I'm not really sure, but it's nice to see that at the end of the day, it's sports, not life. And you just want to make sure that everyone is in good health and good well-being. I'm hoping Markstrom is all right, but obviously I will keep you updated. I think the Devils deserve an A for this overall effort. And first time they beat the Bruins in regulation in a few years. I would have to look back. But yeah, I'm going to settle with an A, and I'm comfortable giving them that. So let me know your thoughts. What did you think of this overall effort from the Devils against the Bruins? What's your favorite memory from the Jacques Lemaire era besides the Devils winning the Stanley Cup in 1995? And do you think the Devils now have snapped out of their funk? I'm curious to hear your thoughts. Leave a comment down below if you're watching on YouTube. If you're listening on podcast streaming service, hit me up on my personal X Page app at TreyMatt4 or the show's X Page app at Locked On Devils. As for today's episode, that's all the time I have for you. Continue to stay safe. Have a wonderful day, New Jersey. Go Devils. I'll catch you guys in the next episode. Thanks for listening once again.